WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. I have something from Bruichladdich, 25 years old, 1990. Ooh. One of 6,000 bottles worldwide, 48.1%. This was a 2016/2017 travel retail exclusive release. 350 euros. I love the tin here. This is very nice. Metal, aluminum, nicely done. Sherry Cask Edition, Pedro Ximinez, Oloroso 25 Islay aged years. Very nice. So the story of this rich and complex. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pour it and let it have a little bit of time here in the glass. So you get a little dog tag here. This is also copper. This is actually very nice. Bruichladdich Sherry Cask Edition, limited release, 6,000 bottles only. I have the bottle 1,879. So focus. Very nice. Yes, you got it. So going to read the can here. It says, the story of this rich and complex ex-quarter century Islay whiskey is one of twins shared at birth. The original spirit, distilled in 1990, has since taken two intriguing paths. Batch 1, Refill Bourbon Casks, 17 years. Premium French Wine Cask, 5 years. Pedro Ximinez Sherry Cask, 4 years. So in total it was 26 years, 17 years old first in the Refill Bourbon, 5 years in the Bordeaux Grand red wine, French red wine cask, and then the end was 4 years in the Pays. Batch 2, Refill Sherry Butt, 18 years old, Oloroso Sherry, and then cask number, and then for 7 years in a Oloroso Sherry cask. Only in 2006 were these two sibling spirits brought together by head distiller Adam Hennett, who has now finessed this profound, rich, and complex dram. A whiskey with a journey, a whiskey with life experience, a whiskey with a story to tell. Rare, unpeated Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Very nice. 48.1% ABV. I like the bull here. The bull has a story because Adam Hennett has a relationship, or has a business relationship, with a man called Jan Pedersen. Jan Pedersen is very Danish, and he owns a bodega, a sherry cask manufacturer down in Spain called the Rey Fernando de Castilla bodega. And what they did is they actually bought real sherry casks here from Jan Pedersen. Now, going back to sherry, 1587, Francis Drake actually won a war and brought back 2,900 sherry casks to England. And everyone was like, oh, this stuff is fantastic, more. And so what they would do is they'd send ships back down to Jerez in Spain. They would take that fortified sherry wine, bring it back in those sherry casks to England, and during those 3 months, plus minus a little bit, the sherry would actually mature in the casks and get a nice oaky moment. Well, the casks were left mainly then in England. What did we do with them? We filled up our nice little here whiskey in that. One of the first ones being Glengoyne that did that. Now, the biggest problem is back in the whenever the European Union said, no, sherry has to be actually matured and bottled in Spain. And so all those casks that were transporting the sherry back to England disappeared. And so what did we do? For example, Glenfarclas actually works together with the bodega in Spain, and the bodega sells him a cask for about 1,000 euros each. And they make these wonderful casks, 500-liter casks from American oak, from European oak, whatever he wants, puts in sherry for 2 years, seasons those casks, takes out the sherry, makes vinegar out of it, and then sends the cask then to Scotland because they need the casks, because people aren't drinking the sherry that we need in order to have enough casks. And so those are seasoned casks. But Bruichladdich said, no, we want real casks. We have real whiskey, we want real casks. And so these Pays, as well as the Oloroso, are from the bodega in which there were many, many years of real sherry usage in those casks, and they can really make a big difference here. All right, so if you know my channel by now, what I like to do is I like to compare whiskeys with each other. And before I opened this up, I had no idea what it would taste like, and so I decided to find anything that had a very similar composition. This is a 21-year-old, not a 25. And this has been matured in combination to find as Oloroso and Pedro Ximinez Sherry Casks. So the Glendronach 21-year-old at the Parliament is basically the pinnacle of the normal core range of Glendronach. The only thing that's better would be the single cask series that they put out once a year. One of my best whiskeys I've ever had was a 1992 single cask, which was amazing. Recently I had a hand-filled 27-year-old from Glendronach. Very, very, very nice. So 48.1%, 46%. Just making sure here. I should know that. Exactly, it's 48%. I thought that was wrong. It's 48%, 48 versus 48.1, so about the same, 25 versus 21. Pedro Ximinez, Sherry, they had some ex-bourbon in there, and we had some wine casks in here as well, which we don't have over here. So, cheers, as I say in Scotland, slanche, or slancheva, to your health. Ooh, I get a lot of that red wine cask, much more than I would have expected. Now, I like Bruichladdich. I've had a few of their whiskeys. I must admit that I'm still a a beginner novice here by Bruichladdich. I have a friend, Didi is his name over here, Dietrich, and he is the expert of Bruichladdich. He can tell you which cask was moved where, when, and he's there a few times a year. This guy is a laddie nerd, all right? I'm not. I'm the beginner. I'm just getting used to this. I have a little bit of knowledge of what happens in that distillery, but yet I'm still not there where it could be or should be. Over here, the Glendronach, on the other hand, I've had a lot of Glendronachs. I'm very familiar with the taste, the profile, and so on. And when I get on the nose, it's a lot more of a raisiny type of molasses type of sweet. It's much heavier. This actually even smells drier, as a Bordeaux red wine is dry. I said this pulls you down because of the sweetness, and this pushes you up because of the astringency actually here. Which is interesting, very, very much so, which happens for 50 to 25 years in wood is a long time. Even though there are a total of 5 different barrels here. 17-year-old refill, 5-year-old French, 4-year-old PX, 18-year-old cherry, and 7 years in the Oloroso. Not the age of the different whiskeys, but the amount of time they spent in each of those barrels, that batch of whiskey. Now, don't forget that Bruichladdich was actually closed between 1994. This was distilled in 1990, so it was his 4-year-old whiskey when the distillery closed down, and it actually just reopened in 2002, which was then 8 years later. And so that's when they started maybe playing around a little bit with this after everything had settled down, yeah? So this was the first time actually moved in the year 2007. All right, so they had a few years, 5 years after it reopened, they started playing with this whiskey and seeing what we could do with it. All right, Slange. Mmm. 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 An excellent whiskey, but I'm missing my sherry orgasm. The red wine actually takes over most of the flavor profile. Now, what we don't know, and I'm going to have a little bit of a guess here. We don't know what the ratio between batch 1 with the French red wine is and batch 2 with the Oloroso. My feeling is 20% Oloroso and 80% French wine. I could, of course, be off. It could be 50-50, it could be 60-40, it could be 70-30. But that French wine, that Bordeaux, that Grand French wine really comes through in a very superior, dominating type of way. This is a very dry whiskey. there's dry wines and there's dry whiskeys. This is a sweet one. You taste it, and there's just immediately there's a little bit of a moisture in your mouth. It just flows because it's just like, oh, this is so wonderful. This, on the other hand, makes you kind of go. The astringency here is dominated more than the sweetness, more than the anything else at all. All right, good. Don't put water in this. I tried this in my German video. I diluted it down just to about 43%, and then the red wine kicks in more, the wood kicks in more, the alcohol is gone. It just flattens out a little bit. This is exactly how God, the creator, in this case, it's Adam Hennett, decided that this whiskey should be, and it's actually perfect. 48.1%. You couldn't get better than that. All right. It is old, 25, 26-year-old, both of those batches together. There's nothing to doubt that at all. I just wish that the French wine dominance would be less in this Bruichladdich. Last time, cheers. Now, my scoring system is an A, why haven't you bought it? B, buy it. C, you can buy it if you want to. D, don't need to buy it. F, or why was this stuff even made? Now, this is a solid B+. It's not a 1 in my book. I'm not the great fan of the red wine finish or the red wine influence. Not a finish, red wine maturation here. It just doesn't tick all my boxes. It's just not 100% of my wheelhouse. On contrary, over here, the Glendronach Parliament 21-year-old, I prefer the 18-year-old from the value for money, but the 21-year-old is still good stuff, actually, very good stuff. The sweetness just hits you. It's molasses, it's brown sugar, it's sweety goodness, sherry aromas. That's what I like. All right, this is more my wheelhouse. This is a little bit different, drier, maybe more developed, more mature, more sophisticated. This is giving a farmer something great to drink. He's going to go, wow. This is giving an aristocrat something great to drink. He's going to go, wow. And maybe I'm just not willing to appreciate the finesse of this whiskey. This is something I understand. This is something I like. This is something I know. This is something I love. That's the way it is. So a B+ is still a buy it. 350 euros turns into about 400 something dollars. B. Is it worth the money? No. I can actually buy 3 of these. I can buy 4 of the Glendronach 18-year-olds for one of these. And to be very honest, I would prefer to have 1 or 2 of these compared to 1 of these. It's just not really my thing. Now, other people just love this. This is very, very, very nice. 48.1% is great. 6,000 bottles travel retail last year, 2018, basically 2017. 17 and 18. 17 was travel retail. 18 appeared in the shops here in Germany. Apparently not everyone was buying them. A little bit on the expensive side, to be honest. Just imagine you're going through the airport, you're going, oh, well, I might get a gift from my father-in-law. Oh, look, 25-year-old Bruichladdich. Oh, 350 euros. Nah, he's not worth that. Where's the 80-euro bottle? I'll go buy one of those. Oh, maybe it's a good business partner. 120 euros. I'll go buy one of those. 350 is pushing it, to be honest, all right? And so there's only a special breed of people that go up to that amount of money and actually spend that for themselves or for others on a single bottle of whiskey. All right, thank you very much for watching. My question of the day is, what is your favorite Bruichladdich? So I've had a few, and I think Black Art would actually be, if I can consider that a Bruichladdich, a Black Art, 6.2, I think it was one of my favorite all-time whiskeys then from Bruichladdich. Like, subscribe, tell others about this crazy guy over in Europe tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. All the best. Bye-bye.